the only one.
Yeah,
That's with the whole family.
You're right.
No, that's the only one I have.
Keep that. When that's another picture of you and Glenn in here then, right? But you can.
I didn't go. No, I didn't go. I didn't like Barbara. I never did go. When I first got married,
I saw you somewhere.
When I first got married, I went there and met all of the people and friends, and who there was a 5 and 10 party. Now, I don't drink, and I don't ride with nobody that's drinking. So no drinking, and I had to go to the bathroom. Usually we go in the back to the garage. He said, well, Midge, I'll let you out in front. And he said he knew the police was following us. And he went up on his own steps to open the door to let me in, and they cornered him.
Oh, wow.
What you doing here? And he says, I live here. He talked to him real nice. And I saw this policeman raise my husband up by the collar. And I heard my husband say, you better take your damn hands off of me. When he said that, I hopped out that car. They pulled their guns, and I got in front of my husband.
Oh.
I would have took the bullet. Glenn said, well, I know you. Say, they can't tell, because the first thing said, you married that little light skin, she don't, you know how it was said. He said, he knew who he was getting. I didn't marry him, but his color, and he didn't marry me. He knew I was smart. Now, he did know that. And I just liked the fact that he wanted something for himself.
Right.
And he did some things that's unusual for a black man or white man. He bought a house before he bought a car.
Oh, wow.
That's very unusual.
But it was paid for legally.
No, the house wasn't paid for, but
Well, it was
he
there.
started buying a house.
Right.
Before he thought about a car.
Before he started buying a car.
Right.
That's unusual.
Yeah, it is.
He
And,
invested.
good furniture. He's always liked the best. He didn't put no good, he had silverware. A set of silver and just dishes, a set of dishes for 12, which is most unusual. I didn't need none of that because I was living at home with my mother and father doing fine.
Right.
And had my own money.
Your own money.
I had more money
Right.
than he had because naturally he was buying stuff. But I like the fact that he bought for himself. I never thought I would marry him, but I had been here and thought it was nice that this man bought, and there wasn't no women in it. Didn't buy he wouldn't let a lady stay in the house overnight. You ain't staying in his house overnight.
All right.
He might bring you there, but you gonna leave.
You're going to leave. You got to leave.
And so I think I like those things about him.
Okay.
And like I say, we just hit it off because he's always, this isn't the house he wanted. He was going to build me one.
Oh, wow.
This man went out and found a lot and white people was living. No whites was in Oakland, in the Oakland Boulevard area, Broad Street and Fullerton. This is all white. But they told him he could buy the lot. They know ahead of time what areas are going to be integrated, the banks and things. But he bought the lot. And of course it was integrated. Blacks took over.
Shortly after that.
Yeah. And we got a builder.
What was that to be built at in what corner? On Broad Street?
Fullerton and Broad. It's
Fullerton
a corner
and Broad.
lot. Fullerton and
I
Broad.
know what you're talking about.
It's very pretty.
I know what you're talking about.
But they wanted all two-story houses, in those areas. But a tri-level, I knew I had to put a tri-level, which I didn't want that. But I knew that. And so we started building. Had an architect and all, drew up the plans. Now, I didn't know my parents was coming here, but my mother said, you got to have a dining room because she believes in these formal dinners and things. So we put the dining room in the house. Yo folks, we started, so they know better than whites.
Okay.
They stopped us.
Okay.
Now, what we could do, go to court. I wasn't going to spend no money. The money that we needed to build a house, I was not going to court. So therefore I said, now I told my husband, I've been as far as I can with you, but I am not building no 2-story house. And I didn't. So someone else heard about it, these brokers. And they said, well, I said, let me take you out and look at some houses. My mother and my husband, I went on Memorial Day, because that's the only day he's off. He took us to 2 houses. I didn't even go in. Then he bring us out here to see this. Well, blacks didn't have ranch homes.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody don't know, in 61, you didn't have ranch homes.
Mm-hmm.
What you have? Cardboard homes?
Yeah, you know they had
Ranch
2
one,
stories. You didn't have
Yeah.
this type of house.
Mm.
And this man was only selling it because 2 black couples built those 2 ranch houses at Pembroke.
Okay.
On the other side, not even on this side. He like to die when he found out 2 black couples was building these 2 houses.
In the next block south
Yeah,
of here.
and they
North.
have the attached garage, which you couldn't do in this block.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he put the house up for sale. Well, he couldn't sell it because black people wasn't buying these homes then.
They probably didn't have the money.
That was it.
And now, what year was this? Era?
61, August, I can tell you,
August
August of
1961.
61.
Oh, wow.
You better believe this was the Avenue of Fashion.
Oh yeah, that was Illinois and
blacks
7
was
Mile
not
Road,
out here,
those
honey.
all.
Yeah.
My next door neighbor and I was the first. Blacks.
Wow.
Everything was white.
Mhm.
And you know once we move in, what happened?
Right.
Yeah,
But what kind of privileges did you get because of your light skin toned? Were you able to
I
pass
just
as
go
white
well, I don't call it passing. I just went where I wanted to go.
without
Now,
restrictions?
whatever, they just never bothered me.
All
I
right.
could go in the stores or go anywhere, and my husband would be with me. They look at him, but they never said. But it was police these are the
Yeah,
nastiest
right.
police you ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I jumped in front of my husband, and of course I wanted to take it to court, and my
You wanted out
husband
of it,
said,
no.
"Miss,"
Get it
said,
out,
"Don't
yeah.
you know what would
Wearing
happen?"
him to death.
Yeah.
Say
Wearing him to
every
death.
time I get in that car, the
Yeah.
police would stop me. We don't. It wasn't until the riots that you all got anything. Don't everybody want to talk about the riot? Honey, you didn't. Everything was white downtown. Hudson didn't even want you to try
To try
clothes
clothes.
on. You everything. You didn't go to their dining room upstairs. You,
In the
you
basement.
worked on the mezzanine and stayed mostly in the basement. The elevator operators. They only had maids, and listen to this, you had to be a light-skinned maid.
That's right.
You had to be a light-skinned
Worker,
elevator
that's
operator.
right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
That, I'm going to tell you, 67
Mm-hmm.
is what changed things.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Sure.
clerks in Hudson's and downtown. You didn't eat in certain Stouffer. You didn't eat in Stouffer's downtown. or nothing.
Greenfield.
See, a lot of these
Yeah.
people don't know. Detroit was one of the most prejudiced. Now, I knew Washington was prejudiced, but we had our own everything. With our own schools. We went to the white schools here to treat you, didn't care whether you learned or not. We had, our principals were black. Our teachers was black, clerks. We had our own movies where everything, the managers, you had jobs. And Howard University, and then you had teachers, minus teachers normal. If you couldn't afford to go to Howard, you had a teachers normal. But everything, so you didn't really, it wasn't that many whites in Washington. And you didn't come in contact, you didn't care.
Wow.
So it made a lot. So I like Washington because we had good black teachers that taught you, and they taught you the right black history. Whites teach you the worst, but the whites and the Indians, they took this country away from the Indians.
What school did you go to in Washington?
Dunbar, the same,
Dunbar, Paul Laurence Dunbar,
the
yeah.
same school that General Davis. General Davis, and then his son went there. It's a college preparatory school. And like I said, Washington, D.C., because you didn't mix with the white people anyway.
Yeah, segregated.
Unless you went to and I didn't know this. They did those big stores. They had a place for children to go where the parents could shop in peace. My mother took us, and they had toys, but now they never saw a black.
Wow.
So they did have certain things, but black people better not go.
Right.
But Chicago was just as prejudiced. So, because my mother sent me to a white school, not because she wanted me to be white, but they wasn't teaching the same thing as they were teaching the white. And all I had to go through is find out what school, because in my mother's, they all had been teachers and they knew the score. So they didn't know why they were passing, because we was taught at home. Those white teachers didn't care nothing about it.
Right. Did they know you was black, or you didn't
No,
say
they
nothing?
didn't know I was black.
All right. That's
My
how.
mother just marched herself into a white neighborhood and took an address.
All
They
right.
do that today too, but they catch.
Well, that's how we made it so far during the slavery and the Great Migration. It took. I mean, we all colors of the rainbow. It took some of us lighter ones to
And
get through the door to sit with the whites and
Yeah.
see what was on their
That's
agenda
right.
and go back and
That's
tell
what
the
I
rest
was
of us.
supposed to do. And they were not using, like third grade, there was a difference in the third, what they were teaching blacks in the third grade and what. That's why so many blacks could not read in the North. You found these college kids could not read because those white teachers wasn't teaching them to read and passing them on.
Wow.
Cause my mother, of course, my mother would go up to the school. My mother stayed on them. So this particular time, and my mother knew the score. My brother wore glasses. He was very smart. He was just smart, and they knew it, and they didn't like it. They don't like smart, and he was very light. And so this particular day, this teacher asked my brother, "William, where are your glasses?" He answered her. He says, "Here they are." So she looked up a little later and found out. She said, "William, where are your glasses?" He says, "Here they are." So she demoted him. So my mother went up to the school, and she told my mother what happened. My mother says, "I'm going to tell you something. I know my son knew what you meant, but as a teacher, when you saw him without his glasses the second time, you should have said, 'William, put your glasses on.'" She said, "But don't think I don't know that my son didn't know what you meant. But you are the teacher, and you are not going to demote him for that."
Your mother didn't play, huh?
She didn't play. But like I say, we know my brother knew. He's smart. But that teacher is supposed to be the teacher.
Exactly.
She should have said, "William, put your glasses on."
Right.
Then if he didn't do it, she would have a comeback.
Wow.
So she said, "I'm sending my daughter up here every day to check." Had no trouble.
No trouble.
But see, like I say, my mother stayed on them. She never cussed. See, you got not this. We like to cuss and go up there and go and
That
fight.
get crazy.
You be smooth. You cool. You don't do that.
Because that's what they're expecting us to
That's what they
be
expect.
ignorant
Just
and
like
irate and all that.
Like over the telephone, they let you know it's being
Recorded.
I know it's being recorded, but it's being recorded for their benefits to see if you're going to act a fool on that phone.
So they can have a legitimate reason to say
Yeah.
why they cut your service.
Oh, no. So see, like you say, you don't. My mother didn't believe in it, and so we didn't. And we cool, but we will straighten white folks out. You better believe
I
it.
hear you. You black, huh?
Yeah,
You say
you
you
just-
black. You better believe
You
it.
black.
Fred.
I will straighten them out.
Black is beautiful.
And don't even open my and don't get angry with it and look them dead. They don't like for you to look them dead in their
No.
eye, and I'll stare them down. But in all this, they've always treated me nice, so I can't say too much. And now when we moved out here, these white women treated Glenn real nice. But come to find out, they thought we were white. And my husband worked for us.
That's what I was going. That was my next question. Did they think he was your chauffeur, or gently, or whatever,
They see
butler?
you in the yard.
Uh-huh.
And they just would talk. And my dad and mother, you better not bother my husband. But we were watching them to be sure they didn't do nothing to him.
Right.
But they treated him real nice.
Until they found out
He was your husband.
They treated him real nice. But we would be in this, when we first moved out here, we would be in that window watching him when he got here to make sure it didn't bother my husband.
I know
But
that's
he
right.
didn't have no trouble, I have to say this. They didn't like it because we moved in, so they moved. But there was a white lady lived right across the street. She had the worst children you ever seen in your life. The boy was in a reform school, and the girl was so bad. And nobody paid her any attention because this was all Jewish.
Oh.
And so nobody would speak to her. So I didn't speak to her. So one day Glenn spoke to her. I said, Glenn, why did you speak to her? He said, because none of the rest of you will. He still had more compassion because he'd been through the South, beating and everything.
Right.
And still he had more because I wouldn't have ever. But they never bothered us. That white girl would bother that Jewish lady, use her garbage can, set it on fire. But they never bothered over here. And when that boy got out of the reform school, treated me respect. And somebody did something one day, and I went out there. He said, ma'am, they won't bother you no more. Never had no trouble out of anybody out here. And that one family, they were so angry, they moved. They wasn't Jewish.
Right.
But like I say, other than that, and they would see, all these Jewish people would see my mother and I walking. All of them would stop and want to know if we want to ride home.
Oh,
Because,
wow.
see, we were right at there. My mother just loved going up Avenue of Fashion. And our drive was all white, and she liked looking in the windows. See, they didn't, black people close their shade blind. White people don't, you know. And Mama just loved looking in the windows and just enjoying it. And we
Right.
shopped on the Avenue.
Right. Why not? You had the privileges. I would too.
And Daddy, he just loved, because he had it easy and retired. And Mama bought a beautiful Russian coat from Bill Jacobs. Bill Jacobs was well known for his clothes. And that's where my mother traded. She had, and my daddy was Louis the Hatter. You remember Louis the Hatter? And so he just bought the best of, he used to buying the best of everything. And Glenn bought the Dobbs hat and the best shoes and all, $100 for his shoes. Now it's nothing. But he was buying them way back then. And Dobbs hat. And had his suits tailor-made because a tailor was right next to his barber shop. And so he made had a barbecue place right there. And this lady that worked at this sports
Across the street from them,
she got him all kind of shorts and she kept him in everything.
Mabel, was her name Mabel, a light-skinned woman?
No, she was dark skinned.
Okay. 'Cause I know Mabel used to live
And the
across
thing
street.
that got him was, she was going with a young man, he wasn't treating her right. And so Glenn put on me, and we went out, but he wasn't right. He really wasn't in love with her. So he either put her down. But she later married an undertaker, which I thought was wonderful. Glenn they lived over it, and that's when we stopped seeing her. He did not want to go up the undertaker's house. But she was very good. They were very good, these women were very good, and I was thankful. When they fixed his, the 5 and 10, he would eat his breakfast over there. And then Mr. Lee would fix barbecue. So like I say, then when he moved on 14th Street, this lady had a lunchroom. She made biscuits for him.
Okay.
So he had hot biscuits.
Oh, wow.
See, I'm not the jealous type. Because what you going to do, and like he had a lot of young women customers because he arched the eyebrows and fixed them up. Now I'm going to get mad.
He making money,
Mr.
bringing
Glenn,
money now.
Bring him-
Then they call, I'm just as nice to everybody as you better believe. Because what you going to do, you're going to do. And I'm not one of those. I have to see it.
Yeah, you got to remember
But now
that.
once I see it,
Then it's
not
all
good,
over,
no, I'm
yeah.
just walking out.
All right now.
I have my own money, remember this. And I kept my own money. He knew it. And
that's what I'm
that
talking
was
about,
his
too.
house, as I told him. And all I would do is get out. If you find you fall in love with somebody, you're
Well,
not
more power
gonna
to you.
just
More
let
power
me know
to you.
so I can get out.
All
More
right.
power to you.
And that's the way I am.
That's
And
wisdom,
the way-
y'all.
and
For
I'm gonna
somebody
do
that
the-
knows.
And I'm gonna do the same. If I am gonna fall in love as I'm not going with two people at one time. That to me, not me.
Right.
Either one or the other. Now I know men do it, and women. Now I know women do it now, but in my day you didn't do it as much.
No,
But honey,
yeah.
these women is tougher than these men today.
Right.
Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, but like I say, it's not my way. I
Right.
don't care what you do. You're not gonna get me to do it.
Right.
See, so like I say, so like I say, I had no trouble. The women called. I was glad to call him to the phone or take the message.
That's right. That's why you was blessed over 60-some years in marriage.
Because like you say,
You didn't care that petty stuff. You didn't care about that petty stuff.
oh no, I
You
know.
know, we're gonna get on,
So
girlfriend.
like I say, we did, till the day he died. And
Day he died.
Well, thank you for telling your story. I mean, that I love